Hey, 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 we are back. We are back. Welcome to Let's Chat. Hey, see?
Hey, Lissha, girl, how you doing this Thursday?
Child, listen, I need it to be Saturday. That's how the day I'm having. For real. Honestly, I need it to be Saturday. Just go ahead and be Saturday already.
I know how that is. I was
That's
trying to get it a nap, but that is not happening. When have I ever had a nap?
Listen, this is the day I'm having today. This week. I just need to go ahead and be Saturday. Just go ahead, be Saturday, and that's what I need it to be right now.
And I want Saturday to just, stretch out as much as it can.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm missing. I need to get production up here. Let me call production. Hold on.
Well, we want to welcome you guys to Let's Chat. My name is Miss Toni, and Lissha is taking care of her production issues. So we hope that you guys are enjoying your Thursday. Y'all know how we do on Thursday. We have a great show tonight. Why do I say great show tonight? Because we literally have great shows every night. Every time we have guests on, we have so much fun with them. I'm going to go ahead and open up the show because I got to just keep talking. But Lissha and I, we started Let's Chat about 6-7 years ago. Lissha and I are bougie. We are bougie readers, and we're able to, we're able to say that these days. But in the back of those times, we used to keep it undercover. But we started off being avid readers, but now we celebrate not only literature, but all walks of the arts. And we celebrated the royal way, Lee. Just telling everybody how we used to, hold back our bouginess as far as reading.
Right.
Now. We embrace the bouginess of what we love in our reading.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, it was a time and I don't like to leave a bad review. I honestly don't. But I know that if you don't leave a review, the author doesn't know. They really don't know.
Right.
And so you have to make sure that you leave that message and let them know what exactly was going on.
Right. Because you don't want to bash
the water
writing, because Lissha and I have come to know the amount of work that it goes into getting a book into our hands. From start to finish, it's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. These characters live with the authors. They do their research. They put it all together. They make it so we want to keep turning those pages. And just looking at the time and seeing it's midnight, I'm just going to read 2 more pages, just 2 more pages. Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. You got to be up in 3 hours. Those are the kind of books that our favorite authors bring us. And they bring it to us. It takes time to develop that. So we appreciate everything an author does to get a book into our hands. So thank you.
And then they take those books and they turn those books into movies. Which is what Kenni York did. I'm so super proud of her. She has always, to me, been a trailblazer. She's never waited for somebody to tell her that she is great. She has always had the attitude of, let me do it myself. Let me see. And she's done so much. And I'm so proud of her because she has her nonprofit. She writes her books. She's turning her books into movies. She is literally creating her own lane. She's paving it just for her. And so we're going to bring in the cast of her new movie as well as the fabulous Kenni York.
Hey, Kenni.
Hi. Hi.
Nice to meet you, girl.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Okay, Kenni, we're going to start with you. Tell everybody just a little bit about your literary journey, and then I want you to tell everybody about the movie.
Okay, so just a little bit about my journey. I've been a published author since 2008. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I started out with a small publishing house, well, relatively small, but I started out in bookstores and then something happened and I became independent. And being an independent author taught me a lot about the business end of the literary industry, which is very important, very important. And then later on down the line, I got another major book deal. So I know the ins and outs, if you will, of both aspects of the publishing industry, from being signed to a publishing house to being independent. So 30 something plus books later, I decided to take a different avenue because I truly believe that there are levels to this whole literary thing. You can't just stay in one spot. I mean, if that's your lane, then great. But I'm the kind of person that I like to see, okay, what can I do now? Okay, what can I learn now? And so I started in the film industry. I started with one movie that actually was a book series, and we turned it into a movie. And now this new movie that was released almost a month ago. Are we at a month yet, guys? I think we're almost at a month. That wasn't a book, but it was a completely original script. And some of these awesome people that you see on screen brought that whole entire vision to life. So without them, it's kind of I ain't gonna say there's no me, but they definitely are a big part of what I've been able to accomplish because we really accomplished this together. So without further ado, the new movie is called The Secrets That Bind. And it's about how our lives are intertwined with the most unlikely people, and how you never know what somebody's going through. Even if you're just really close to them or you think you're really close to them and you really know them, you never really know what it is that they're going through. And yeah, that's what it's like.
So what was the process like when it came down to you casting for this event?
So for casting, we sent out casting calls. We put up flyers, different places online, different groups, looking for local talent. That was a big thing. Wanted to make sure that we showcase talent that was here in Atlanta. And some of these awesome people either came to a casting call or we casted virtually. A lot of things being done online these days, by sending in a reel and what do you call that, resume. And we just happened to come up with a great bunch. I couldn't have asked for a better cast. I really could not have.
All right. Well, make sure you introduce the cast members we have today and the characters they play.
I sure will. So I'm going to start with Abiola. Hey, Abby. She's so cute. Okay, so Abiola plays the business partner for Reed of our lead character. So he gives us that no nonsense, I ain't playing with you kind of persona. I love it. He comes across very well on screen. It was a very good pick. I'm very, very honored to have had him. And then my friend, my buddy, Miguel, she also was in the film, and she played the patient coordinator, Paula, who is very important to our female lead, who isn't with us yet. And our male lead, Javaris, who plays Anthony, the lead character. And there you have it. That's them.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned their names because Lissha and I can jack up a name. I was just
jack them up.
Abiola. AB.
Right, well, can we call you AB? Is that okay? You muted because we can't hear you talking. Are you muted? Is your phone muted?
Abiola, I got that one. And Mr.
We can't hear you talking.
I got him. And Manuel.
Is your headset plugged in?
Yes, Manuel.
Okay, I want you to go back out, hit the link, and come back in. Okay. All right, he'll be back, y'all. He'll be back. So let's start. Manuel, is that correct?
Yes, that's
it. Great. Let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your character and what you had to do to get into that role.
Paula, my character, is the social worker. She actually is letting the son know as he's bringing his mom in, making him comfortable, letting him know that the facility is a great facility and that his mom is going to be okay, and how our staff is going to be very supportive, and that he didn't have anything to worry about. To actually getting to that cast, getting to that mold to play that part, it was just more of kind of a calm, mellow for me to kind of like relax, be a little quiet, and think of like being at peace.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice.
I love it. I love it. I'm just trying to. And Jarvis?
I got that one.
All right. You're muted, Javaris.
Take yourself off mute.
I got you.
There you
All
go.
Okay,
right.
you can hear me now? Okay.
And,
Yo,
and then
what's
you know what
going
I
on?
want you to do? I want you to pull your camera. I want you to pull your camera a little bit up. We want to see your smiling face. We want to see you. We want to see them cheeks.
No, don't tell me that. No, I'm actually upset because when I was introduced, I wasn't cute.
Oh,
Yeah, it
don't
was
do it.
hard.
Don't do it.
He's so cute.
Don't do it.
I came back
You
just
didn't
in
say
time.
cute, but
Come on, Kenny.
I think I came back just in time.
Just in time.
I would have
I'm
never heard
starving
that
me.
if I would have missed that one.
Listen, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your character and what it took for you to get into that role.
Okay, the character that I played was Anthony, and it was a lead, and I was just so grateful for the opportunity that I knew that once I get on set, I wanted to kill it. You know what I mean? So Anthony, uh, he's really was like he reminded me so much of me, and that's why I was able to build a character. I can relate to him a lot. He was this, charismatic, smooth type of guy, all about his business, and I had so much fun on the set.
Okay.
I bet you did.
And AB?
You may not have heard the question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Tell us a little bit about your character and how you came into kind of getting into that role.
Well, I felt, I read the script and I knew that it was a big deal that, the project we were working on and the clientele that we had was a major client. And, you know, Anthony messing it up kind of just, when I read that, I just knew I had to be tough on him. So I figured, I tried to see if I could make that be seen in, within that scene. So I hope I did a good job in convincing folks that I was kind of pissed off at them. And I think anybody would have been based on the clientele that, it was the major client. And, I just tried to make sure and reflect that feeling towards that moment. So I hope I did good. I hope y'all, love that moment and love the entire movie in the whole.
Absolutely. We always everybody has a go moment in life. And a go moment is when thought and execution come together. Most of the time, we might have something that is in our spirit to do, but we never actually do it the first time. It take a couple of times before we're like, okay, let me go ahead on and do this. So I want each of you to talk about your goal moment. What was that time when you decided to say, I'm about to do this? We'll start with AB.
Pertaining to this moment in this environment, or
pertaining to acting.
Acting.
Uh-huh. What was your goal moment? Yeah.
Well, I had to say, well, it was pretty much like, I guess every moment, anything I do is a go moment. I'm like, because I'm very shy, so like, It
Where?
take a lot for me to do all of that stuff, like to go on stage or get in front of the camera. Like I'm really, really shy. So for me to be in this field and doing this, it's like everything I got in me, I have to pull it out in order for it to like, in order for me to just show up. Like it take a lot. So like, I think every time I'm like agreeing to do something or I'm trying to further my artistic career, it's
Mm-hmm.
all been thought about and it's all been contemplated before, and I figure out what step I'm gonna make. It might take a while for me to make it, but within that whole process, I feel like that whole everything that I do is a go moment because I just feel like it's so much pressure in being an actor first of all, and
Mm-hmm.
I just I look up to a lot of people who are in the industry and who've been doing it for
Mm-hmm.
a number amount of years because it's a lot of pressure. It's different
Mhm.
situations where you could probably
Mm-hmm.
be uncomfortable and you still have to pull it off. So I feel like once a camera in front of you, it's always a go moment. So like you just got to be ready and prepared for every moment there is. So I feel like
Right.
every time you got to be ready. It's got to be a go moment. Everything your next step should be your best step. So that should be the go moment. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. So,
Mhm.
what was that thing that ignited that fire in you, knowing the things that you know about yourself? Um, what was that thing that ignited yourself to take your first casting call?
Well, I feel like every now and then people realize when they get a second chance in life, and then that moment is like when I was like, I'm gonna go after anything, free, paid, help, whatever it is. I'm gonna just make the best of it because I got a second chance in life, based off of some of the things I've been through in the last 10 years. I feel like if I survive those things, then that's what's driving me to do anything right now, going
Mhm.
forward.
I love it. I love it. And Javaris?
Oh man. My go moment really be I really what I do is just I sign up and show up. You know what I mean? That's what I do. If I sign up for something 30 days from now, a lot of times I be want to pull out. You know what I mean? I be want to back up. I be like, why did I do this? But I just I just give myself that pep talk. And if I sign up, I always tell myself I need to show up. And that basically it.
Mhm.
So, what was that thing that ignited you to sign up for your first casting call? What was that thing that was burning inside of you to say, "I'm about to do this. I think I
Oh,
got this
oh,
right
oh,
here."
oh. Oh, I look good on camera. I seen myself on camera and I was like, you know what? Although Kenny didn't mention it, but I say, look, I can get this thing a shot, man.
Oh, Kenny girl, you're gonna hear it.
Am I
Um, my goal is I always been into performing. I just like to get out there, do my very best, and to actually see what the audience or whoever might be watching me is gonna get
Okay.
from it.
Uh-oh.
She lost her.
So
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh,
Good.
Manuel, we want you froze a little bit. We want you to go out and come back in. Kenny, while she's doing that, tell everybody about your go moment. You've had so many
okay.
go moments.
Oh,
So for you, you've taken large steps, not small steps. And you've always taken those bold steps, mostly in the dark where nobody ever knows. And it's like, boom. Like, where is it at? Tell us about that process for you and your goal moment when you decided to take your books into film.
Well, the go moment that actually comes to mind for me was the moment when I decided to do this particular production. My first film, my first movie, I was real gung ho. I was excited about it. I was excited about it. I don't think the rest of the world was so excited about it though. And I got burned a lot with that particular film. I got burned financially. I got burned personally, and in some professional ways as well. And at the end of it, the result wasn't exactly what I had envisioned. So I was a little disheartened and a lot discouraged. And I was afraid. I was scared to do it again because, I don't have to tell y'all how people in the industry will tear you down. They may not know nothing about what it took for you to get to that point, but they just see the end result. And if it ain't hitting on nothing to them, they will tear you down. And so I felt like I didn't have the support that I wish I'd had. And it was hard for me. But I've always been a person who I don't want to succumb to failure. And I have goals. And my children are watching me, and I can't say to them, "Oh, shoot for the stars." And I'm just sitting up here waddling in self-pity and fear. So I bit the bullet and said, okay, I learned a lot, and that's very important to take the lesson. It may not, you'll try, and it may not always be successful, but you still win because you learned something along the way. So when we started this production, I wasn't a novice like I was um, on the first production. I learned a lot, had a lot of experience. I'd met some people who had expertise that I did not have. So I learned how to collaborate, how to network, how to delegate, because I am also the kind of person that likes to try to do everything myself. But my agent has taught me the importance of having and believing in and trusting a team, your team. So bit the bullet, trusted in my team, worked hard, drew on the lessons that I learned from the last time, and here we are now. Totally different place with this film than with the last one. And I couldn't be happier.
I love it. But that's so true because a lot of times I think that's in general. If anything that you want to do, anything that you're passionate about, isn't hitting on anyone else, period. Like most of the time, people don't see you going farther than what they see themselves doing. And if they don't see it as something that they can accomplish, they definitely don't see it as something that you can accomplish. Because it's like, if I don't see myself doing it, how are they going to be able to do this? And I love what Amy said about second chances and being able to have that second chance and not want to walk in fear. He wants to make sure that anything I do, I'm going to do it. I'm not going, I'm going to make sure I plan it so that it's done right, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let anything hold me back. Marielle, what was your goal moment like? We couldn't hear you. You were telling us you was getting good.
Okay. As I was saying, I always wanted to do acting. So whenever there was a chance to actually shine and I have the spotlight, I go out there and I'm always doing my best. I'm always excited to see what the people on the other side what they're gonna get from it and how they're gonna react to my actual performance. So whenever it's out there, it's like I'm ready to go. I want to go out there and take that chance to see how high I can go, how where I'm gonna advance to, how far I can get.
That's awesome. Kenni, it looks like you have such an awesome cast, and it looks like it must have been a lot of fun on set. Now, I want to start with Mr. Jarvis, Javaris. I'm sorry, Javaris, right?
Yes.
Got it. I want to ask you, what of your own personality did you have to bring, or that you had to draw on to be this lead character? And have you ever been a lead man before?
No, I haven't been a lead. So, like I said, I was grateful for the opportunity. And, some of the things that I brought with me was just being around an amazing team. Like, the team was so hilarious. They kept the energy high. It was never no complaining. It was just an awesome team, and everybody kind of bounced off each other. You know, we even picked up each other's slack if there was. We ate good on set too. Man, we even had a chance to meet Kenni family. She has some awesome young men, man. They was even there to help, and we was able to coach them and let them see, you know, how we was trained in it at a young age. But yeah, man, it was just the energy was so great there, and it just made you want to do better. And I just brought me and mixed it with Anthony, you know, and it worked out.
I can see that. And Miss Manya, what did you bring of yourself to make your character who it was?
I actually bought, because I'm always like a giver and a kind person. I work in the medical field and I'm always caring for my patients. So I took a little bit of my job as well as my personality and just brought it together to bring that role out.
Awesome. And did you learn, did either one of you learn anything new about yourself during this experience that you may not have recognized or known before? Let's start with Mr. Javaris.
Can you repeat that again, man?
Was there anything that you learned about yourself during this episode of this, you know, this?
Oh yeah, man. Actually, I learned a lot. I learned that I can do it. You know, it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was just all easy because I work night shift, so it would be times where I get off or work 7 in the morning and head straight to the set and get it done. So that's another part of my go moment that we spoke about earlier because you know, and just having an amazing team once again. I just can't say that enough. But yeah, it was man, it was amazing. And basically me doing being the lead is like I made the cover and I was like, you know what? It was just an amazing experience and it made me want to take on more leading roles.
You sound like you really enjoyed this
I did.
production.
I watch it like almost every day. I watch it every day. I'm serious.
What did you learn about yourself during this whole production that you may not have known about yourself before?
Yeah. What could I say?
I'm just gonna say them earrings is everything. You can just slide them my way.
Thank you. I'm really trying to think. I didn't have such a big role. It was really like a small part. I just so enjoyed, like I said, the cast that I did get to work with. I so enjoyed working with them. The energy just, I just know that working around positive people, I mean, brings out great results.
Yeah.
That's true.
I can't even
It's so
say much.
true. You know,
That's true.
work off each other.
Well, we're going to take a brief break, and what we're going to do is we're going to show the trailer for The Secrets That Bind.
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. The kitty didn't know. I had to go look for it.
Awesome.
All right, hold on, y'all. Let's see. Let's hope YouTube acts right.
Okay. That cover is hot.
I know, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give special thanks to Sunny Giovanni because she created our graphic designs.
She's awesome.
Woo, Sunny. Okay, honey.
Yes.
I don't think YouTube want us to be great, y'all. I'm trying to make YouTube make us be great. Let me see.
Work your magic, Leash. Work your magic, girl.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see. We're going to do this one more time. T, you keep going. Let me work some magic.
Okay. Now I want to ask you, the three of you, and I'm gonna start with Sunny. Not Sunny. See, you don't got me thinking about Sunny. I'm gonna start with Kenny. Have you ever encountered anything really major you just question whether this is, the journey that you want to take, and if so, what would have been other than this?
I I have those moments all the time if this is the journey that I want to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I have a moment like that, though, something happens. The universe has a way of showing you exactly what it is that you need to see when you need to see it.
That's
So
right.
let's say I'm having a moment of like self-doubt or whatever, about a book or something. Here comes a reader, or here comes someone who's seen the movie, and they'll come in my inbox and say, "Oh my God, I read this, or I saw this, and you're so awesome, and I'm so proud of you, and you inspire me." And that inspires me because
Mhm.
that tells me, okay, it's not in vain. Someone is watching, someone is noticing, and someone is appreciating the gifts
Right.
that I'm sharing with the
Mhm.
world. And that helps me to keep going.
It's always someone watching, isn't it?
Yeah,
Every
indeed it is.
I
And
know.
it's true because I did my Vision of Books event, and Kenny was one of the fabulous featured authors. And after the event, because everybody knows there was a snowstorm in February, but she sent me the most encouraging inbox ever. I so appreciate you for that. I just really, really thank you for always supporting me.
Oh, yeah. I
Awesome.
try to make it do what it do. I believe that we have to support each other, because there's so much room for all of us to grow and all of us to succeed. And we need each other. I just really hate it when people aren't humble and don't realize that there is a whole line of people that helped you get to where you are. And
Right.
for me, even you guys have helped me get to where I am. The
Mhm.
actors have helped me get to where I am. You guys for interviewing me. Y'all always interview me, and I love y'all. So if you ask me, "Hey, Kenny, we doing this. I need you to come." If I flip these pages and there's nothing on that day, I'm gonna do it because I realize that you've helped me get to where I am. So who am I to not um, give back and be thankful and be grateful and be loyal to those who've been there for me?
Mhm. Well, we appreciate
Absolutely.
you, girl. I want to ask you for now. What? Now I don't forgot my question. Oh,
Okay, well, while you think about that, let's play the.
you got it.
Yep, hold on.
Right. Okay. I got my question, Miss Rhonda.
Not really. He likes lemonade. You don't have to do this. I'm scared.
Fareed, trust me. This lady's nuts.
That lady's loaded.
I don't mean to unload all this on you.
I was hoping your son would be with you today.
Yeah, because whatever you did to piss her off.
I don't want to have this conversation.
Having random men in your house?
If you don't get out of here, you're not going to have any woman.
I never begged a woman for anything. I'm here because she's been behaving strangely. I was thinking that it was a result of the stroke. Yes, I was calling for Dr. Payne. Can you have him give me a call back immediately? I think something wrong with my mother.
Wow.
Mm.
So, Kenny, I guess I want to ask you, what's the premise behind the movie itself? And is it based on an experience that you have had from a loved one that has been ill?
To be honest, no. I had a dream, and this was the result of it. And I listened to my little voice, and my little voice told me, "Oh, girl, write this down. This is a film." And so I did that, and I'm glad that I did, because I get a lot of messages now with people or from people who have seen the film, and it speaks to what they have or are experiencing. Even I got a message from a friend I went to college with, and I haven't talked to her in almost a decade, y'all, telling my age there. But she said, "Oh my God, Kenni, this happened to me recently, and I lost my dad." And I had no idea. I mean, I know, but it spoke to her, and it's speaking to a lot of people, because I believe it's something that a lot of people have some experience with. For those of you who have watched the film, that aspect of watching a family member basically deteriorate from cancer. So yeah, it's a little heavy, but it's hard,
It's life.
it's heartfelt.
Yes.
Yeah, it's life. It really is.
Mhm.
Miss Manala, I remember my question, girl. You ready? Okay. Have you ever encountered anything that made you question being an actress?
Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I at one time when I did perform in a production, after that production was actually over, and after a little while later, they had another audition for another production, and for whatever reason, I kind of like wasn't chosen to be in that production, so I started to kind of like get a little doubts, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to be doing this, or this
Right.
may not be for me.
Right.
But I didn't stop. I picked right back up when opportunity prevailed, and I kept on going.
And we're glad you did. And Mr. Javaris, how about you? Have you ever encountered anything questioning you being another upcoming lead man?
Oh yes, yeah, a lot. Especially when they like when I get the script in my hand. It depends on how long uh how long my lines is. If I got 10, 20 pages or more, you know what I mean? I be like, oh, I got to remember all of this. But yeah, so it's like, man, but yeah, I have a lot of times where I doubt, and a lot of times we don't really know if this is for us, because sometimes some people are better behind the camera, some are better at writing, some are better. But I just got out there and took a chance, and it worked out.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Absolutely. Now, Travaris, that was a very touching scene. Have you ever had to experience that, leaving a loved one that you knew was in a position in life that was hard for them, but there's nothing that you could have done but what you were doing at that moment? And have you ever had that experience where you've had to actually be the one to say, listen, this is what's kind of best?
It's amazing that you asked me that, because if you would ask me while I was shooting the film, I would say no. But within the last 3 weeks, I lost my grandmother. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
yes, and when my dad was telling me about, due to the COVID thing, he would go visit her, and they had the glass, and he couldn't see her, and it used to, hurt him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, wow, because she had, she was in the hospital, deteriorating and all that, and it just made me think about, like, wow, I went and like actually went through this doing on set, and then it kind of like basically prepared me for it, honestly. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
basically brought some type of closure. So yes, I have.
Mm.
Miss
Wow.
Manielle, same question. Have you had that experience?
I actually have several times in my life. It was kind of touching when I actually did get the script and I started to read, because I had a sister that died of breast cancer.
Mm.
Oh,
It's making me a little emotional.
oh,
Oh,
take a moment. Take a moment.
take them out. We are so sorry for both of you for your losses.
Um, At the time, like I said, that was the first time actually experiencing somebody so close. She had brain cancer, and like I said, with her memory going, it was a little funny sometime when I actually went to help and take care of her. Like I said, the mind is something. She was moving different furniture and like hiding socks and putting them crazy places. So it was a little funny, but it's like the way it totally takes over the mind and the way certain type of cancers move so quickly to where it's like it teaches me that you have to enjoy your loved ones while they're here. I mean, like anyone in your life, because within a blink of the eye, like her, she was a nurse. Nothing was wrong with her. And it was like she got glioblastoma multiforme. That's the worstest cancer. And like I said, just actually seeing how things happen so quickly. So, yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow. That's kind of hard. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry you had to experience that, and I'm sorry for the loss that you have both experienced throughout these few months. Now, Kenny, I want to ask you, when you brought it to the big screen, what was the hardest part of this process for you?
Ooh, the hardest part. Um, the hardest part for me was time management. Having to manage a lot of schedules, everybody's schedule, and make sure that everything was coordinated. I wore a lot of hats for this particular production. So just trying to keep everything organized and together because I like to make good on my promises. And when I tell the cast, okay, this is going to happen, I like to be certain that I can make good on what I said would happen. And a lot of that comes with being diligent and being organized, and all of that in and of itself is a challenge, especially when you're someone like me who has a lot of different things going on between working a regular 9 to 5, and then of course my book thing, and then my children, and one of my kids, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but one of my children is a special needs child, so he requires a lot more than my other children actually do. So that's tough. And then a lot of people don't know this either, but I've actually gone back to school. So I'm in grad school also. So that is a commitment, a time commitment, and just trying to have the time or work out the time to get everything done. It's all about organization.
No, you bring up a good point, Kenny, as far as time management, because in any field that you go into to be successful or even semi-successful, you have to be able to manage that time with what you're being passionate about, as well as what your life is. And have you ever experienced that, Javaris? How do you manage your time? Because it sounded like you said at one point you left work and went straight to set. How do you manage your time as well?
Well, I knew that this was something that I wanted to get into, and I kind of like, honestly, I rearranged my work schedule so I was able to shoot and film, and because a lot of it is during the weekday and barely on the weekends, but with this particular movie, we was able to, work around each other work schedules and so on. But I just try to like stay prepared and stay ahead.
Especially when you have so many lines, because you brought up a good point on the amount of lines you have to remember.
That's
you
right.
know, and that takes time and that takes repetition as well to get those
Yes.
lines exactly right. And how was your time management, Miss Manya?
My time management actually was with this film here. It was great. I am an extremely busy person because I'm always multitasking, doing several different jobs. But I knew when I committed to this, I really wanted to do it. Anything that came up, whatever date she put out, I was like, nope, I can't do it this day or this time because I knew I wanted to be there. So I just dropped everything else to do this because this was something I really wanted to do.
Hmm. Now I'm going to put Miss Kenni on the spot. Not necessarily a bad spot, but I want you to share with our listening audience some of the qualities that you really, really enjoyed working with your cast. And let's start with the qualities of Miss Manuel. What were some of her qualities that you enjoyed and you noticed and you wanted her on set?
I really appreciate Mongel's commitment and her patience. I remember the day that she was on set. It was one of our longer days, one of our longest days of shooting. And her scene was actually at the end of that work day, but she was there from the beginning all the way to the end. And even when she wasn't being filmed, if there was something that we needed her to do, just in the background or whatever, she was there, she was doing it, she was willing, she didn't complain, and she just hung out in our staging area and didn't give us any grief, and she was helpful, and she did it all with a smile.
Oh, I love hearing that. And let's about Mr. Lead Man, Mr. Javaris, the one that you didn't say was cute in the beginning.
Child. Honey, let me tell you. I like that Javaris, he brought a sense of fun and lightheartedness and comedy to the set. It's a heavy script. The script is heavy. There are some light comical moments, but for the most part, it's kind of it's more serious, on the more serious end of the spectrum. But he made being on set fun, and I didn't know about that rearranging his schedule part, his work schedule, so he could be there. But I did know that there were many a times when he was leaving straight from work and coming to us. So I appreciated his dedication to the project, and his commitment, because he could have bailed on us, he could have called out, which would have set us back, which would have set production back, which would have been hard for all of us, but we would have adjusted. But I appreciate him for being considerate of his cast members, and taking it serious, taking the project itself seriously enough to be so devoted to it. So I appreciate you for that, Javaris. I can't thank you enough for that.
That's
absolutely. Now, we always like to do something fun on Let's Chat. So T is going to give each of you guys a fun question. Javaris and Manuel, since this is your first time, it's going to be easy. Kenni been here all. She might as well say she got a key and her own personal seat over there with some fuzzy slippers. Go ahead, T.
Well, we thank you guys for joining us, and it has been so much fun. And Kenni, I could see Javaris bringing that comical light airness to the set, because he has brought it to the chat room as well. But I want to ask Mr. Javaris, if you were a mascot, what mascot would you be that best describes your personality?
If I was a mascot, oh my God.
I'm a sports fanatic, so I love mascots.
That was out of the blue. That was out of the blue.
Never know what you got to do here. Let's chat.
Yeah, a mascot.
You can make one up.
I guess a cowboy or the cowboy. I don't know. I mean, like, because I'm kind of rough around the edges, so like the Cowboys NFL mascot, very.
Now I'm even afraid to ask what kind of sport that would be. Please don't those cowgirls.
Oh my goodness!
I had a totally different mascot in mind for him.
What did you have?
Y'all know that cartoon character Pepe Le Pew?
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
That was a good one, Kenni.
We finally got Miss about yourself as well as your character and what it took for you to form that character. Oh, we can't hear you talking. We can't hear you. You got your mute, or you have your mute on?
Okay, I am a model, actress, and a health consultant, and I am 67 years young. No one thinks I'm that old, but I am. I enjoyed the movie. It was very emotional. You had to put a lot of your feelings in a woman or man getting old and imagining things. And even right now with the COVID virus, you know, a lot of people are going through depressions and imagining things and scared. And the part when I told my boyfriend, I'm scared. And you know, you have to think about how many people are afraid because they don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So it was very emotional thinking about being old, knowing you got an illness, you're going to die. You know, it was emotional, and I am a very emotional person. I can cry at everything. I mean, I can cry at everything, and I just show my feelings. But I really enjoy working with the cast, the crew, and everybody was just wonderful. And I came in with a broken ankle. the first couple of times I came, I had a broken ankle, but it was on my right foot, and I had to take the boot off to drive.
Oh boy!
So, but I enjoyed it. I really did, and everybody just was wonderful.
Wow!
Absolutely. Now, when you had to prepare for that
hear
role,
me? I can't hear myself. I can't hear.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. When you had to prepare for that role, what was that process like for you?
Oh, this phone! I have so much things going on here. I can't hear anything now.
Can you hear us?
But anyway, I don't know what's going on with my stuff. I don't have an iPad, tablet, phone. But it was a good movie. It's very good, and I hope and pray that everybody watch it.
Oh,
I can't hear.
You can't hear us at all.
Oh, tablet here.
You can't hear us. Okay, well, Miss Maniela, I'm going to ask you your fun question. Now, you remember those big boxes of crayons that we used to get that had tons of colors in it? You are one of those colors. You can even make up one. What color would you be and why? Oh, we can't. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Okay. Okay.
Orange.
Okay.
I love bright colors.
Oh, okay.
And orange is one of my favorite colors. Orange is one of my favorite colors.
Awesome. Now, Miss Kenni, you know you can't come into the chat room and not have a question.
Okay.
If you were a candy bar, what would you be and why?
I would be a Twix.
Y'all know she fast. Y'all know she fast, y'all. She fast. Go ahead.
I'm so good. I'm so delectable. I'm so tasty. This chocolate is just so rich. You gotta have it.
Here, so.
Oh, you too much.
Oh my goodness.
Lanita can hear us, so we can hear what she would be. Having you guys, you know, and I can see the love and the just the camaraderie with you guys, and that's awesome. You know, it's awesome to be able to work in that type of environment. It makes working so much more enjoyable.
It does. It does. And I just want to say, I mean, I try to say it as often as I can, but I just want to say thank you again to the cast, because without them, it wouldn't even be possible. It does. It
Awesome.
does.
Well, we thank you guys, and we wish you nothing but the best. And please, all of you, please come back to visit Lissha and I. You know, this is your home. You're welcome to come back anytime. You want to get on here and just talk about anything, just let us know. We'll make it happen, no matter what it may be. Kenny, you know you are always welcome here, girl.
Thank you.
So Miss Alicia, I wanted to know if I can find a way to get in touch with you. I have a pair of these earrings for you. I actually sell all of the jewels that I'm wearing, so I would like to gift you. I want to gift you with a pair of those earrings.
You better stop.
If you give me your information, I will mail those for you.
I will give it to Kenny. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, honey. Listen,
You're welcome.
you know, I love me a good pair of earrings.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, you guys, like T said, you guys are welcome back anytime. We wish you nothing but success. Kenny, let us know what's next.
Girl, I'm tired. What's next is everybody's gonna go and watch the movies. So go ahead and go to the Amazon Prime, type in The Secret That Binds, and help us reach our goal. I'm so excited. I've been holding out on sharing this, but we are almost at 10,000 minutes streaming, and we haven't even been out a full month yet. So 10K, y'all. So I'm very, very excited. And yeah, go watch the movie. Please support it. Watch the movie. Leave a review. Help our actors get some exposure. This is not about me. And I tell people all the time, because, you know, Lord, people be out there hating Jesus. But this is not about Kenny. This is about the entire cast, the entire crew, and everybody's gifts and talents that they put together for us to have this collaborative effort. And everyone on the cast and crew list deserves to have that exposure and that support. So please go support our crew, our team, support the film, leave a review, tell a friend.
Where they can watch it, Kenny. Where can they watch it at?
Amazon Prime. Y'all know y'all got the Amazon Prime. Don't know that
Now, Kenny, how hard was it to get your movie on Amazon?
It was a headache. It's not as difficult as one would think, though. It's really a matter of following directions and having tech people that know what they're doing. I'm not a technical person, so I have someone that handles all of that, and again, a part of the team. So that's the important part. If you are listening or watching or whatever, and you're interested in getting into film independently and getting your films on Amazon or any streaming service, really, just make sure that you get with professionals who know what they're doing. Sometimes you might have to pay a little something or network with people. You may be able to barter, what have you, but make sure you get you somebody who knows what they're doing and who has experience, because you need it. I learned that you can't do everything yourself.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. And Javaris, what's next for you? I pronounced his name wrong, didn't I?
Oh no, it was correct, Javaris.
Okay. What's next for you?
Well, what next for me is I want everybody to watch the movie. That's what next we're going down, Amazon Prime. But what I want to do is just really keep getting in castings and just keep getting like exposure, more exposure.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And Miss Manuel, what's next for you?
Well, actually, before the COVID, I was in the midst of filming some more. So it's an upcoming film, which is awesome. So I'm in the process of some filming.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Miss Lanita?
Yes, well, I'm filming this Saturday. I'm gonna be filming Saturday. I'm always doing something, and God has blessed me at the age of 67 to. I want to. I want to encourage the seniors to do this. Because a lot of them they sit back at home and they're not happy.
Yeah.
So, and I want to motivate them. So motivate people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I and I'm like Kenny was talking about technical problems. I was having problems. I had my Air Mac, I had my iPad, I had my iPhone. I couldn't even get on. I'm like, what's going on? I need help. I got my
I'll be like that sometime too.
I had my hearing stuff on, and I couldn't get on. I hear you guys, and I said, oh. But let me just share something, which is the part that I played in the bed. Everybody talked about me in the bed. Well, let me just share something with you. Let me just share something with you. When you are acting, you have to portray that character. And so, like I did a movie once, I had a cuss. I said, I don't cuss. But I had a cuss. So you had to portray whatever character that they want you to portray. And they talked about me. My kids saw it. Mommy did well.
Well, I was looking for that scene of you in the bed.
I was like, ooh, wee.
Listen, let me tell you.
I was imagining. I was thinking.
When I saw it, Miss Lanita, when I saw the rough cut of it, remember I wasn't there on that day of filming.
Right.
So I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, did I write that? Or are they just doing some improv right now? I was like, where's my script? Who told them to do that?
Well, you know what? I had a director one time ask me what kind of movies I won't do. I said, porn. He said, well, you get this amount of money. I said, honey, that'd give me an island if I did a porn. If I got to show the I got to get an island. But it was just showing feelings and emotions, I mean, that's all I was doing, thinking about feelings and emotions and stuff. So,
you had to go back and look at your script.
I did.
Like, wait, what? Wait a minute now.
Wait,
I remember that.
That got me on Amazon trying to find the movie so I can see the scene too.
Girl, you better go watch that.
We're gonna do this one time, and we ain't gonna keep doing a retake. We're gonna do it one time, and this is gonna be it. No.
Oh, you did it in one take?
I think we did. I mean, they did different angles, but shoot,
girl, them angles.
I love it.
Wait a minute.
You know what? One of my friends said, Lanita, did you have panties on? I said, yeah, I have panties on. But I must share with y'all how stupid, because I'm old now, but I do things sometimes like, why did I do that? What did I do? Yesterday I went to go get a massage. The man said, take off all your clothes. But then I read the sign and said, keep your bra and panties on. He didn't tell me that, but I had a towel on. I said, so then you're supposed to leave your bra and panties.
She was ready. She was ready.
Let me take a little drink of my wine.
Listen, Miss Lanita, you might be 67, but honey, ain't nothing old about you. You keep on living, girl.
Hey, girl, you got to do what you got to do, girl.
I love it. We so appreciate you guys coming to kick it with us here in the chat room. You are always welcome anytime. Kenny, you know this is your home. We are family. Anything you need, just let us know. If we can do it, we are there.
Thank you. Much love to you all.
And welcome to the family, you other guys. Javaris, myself, Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Enjoy your night.
That was so great, T. Oh my God, that was super fun. Yeah, that was so fun. Welcome to Let's Chat. We have to switch a few things around. We got our next fabulous guest. We're just going to keep it moving here. Author Garth Bison. I always say his name wrong. Y'all know I can mess the name up.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Guys. Okay, guys, I need you to get in the camera just a little bit, so I need you to move on the first pitch. No, yes, there it is. There it is. I also want to say thank you, y'all. I'm writing my book, and he allowed me to use his image as the characters in the book. So I appreciate you. I always appreciate your support. Anything I ask, you always make sure you make it happen. Right down to today. You had so much going on, you made sure you were like, listen.
No, I had to. I was like, listen, once I get an invite and it's with you guys, I have to come on because I feel like you guys were there from the beginning of a lot of things that started. And I always reinvent myself and you guys continue to support that. So I wanted to shift a lot of things around. I had to kind of like make sure today happened. I didn't want to reschedule. I wanted to make sure it happened. So I was very thankful that you guys pushed it back a little bit so I could be on the program. So I appreciate you more than anything else, especially for today.
Absolutely. He's also going to be a Vision and Books 2020 featured author. So he will be here in Atlanta for that in April of 2022. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your journey because it's a unique journey into becoming an author.
Yeah, I always believe that certain doors closed or open, they lead to different things. I started off doing a little bit of, I played soccer for a little bit, then I started off into a little bit of modeling, had a passion for writing, which I continued to write regardless. Did a couple of music videos along the way, some modeling in Dallas, here in Texas. But the passion was mainly for writing. And I think it has led to a lot of different forums and a lot of different platforms, especially some that I have right now. So I think it redirected me to what I was really passionate about. But it did start from getting my foot into the Atlanta scene in terms of getting into a bit of modeling, some fitness stuff. I was a personal trainer for a while. And it did direct me to the passion, which I have now, which is writing and doing like little segments and stuff. So a unique journey. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, throughout your journey, you've evolved your brand into a new platform. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we have two new platforms, actually. We have the Dear Men Project, which was mainly geared towards building a bridge between men and themselves. I think we've had a lot of problems that we can identify with men in general, and little or no solutions. So we've had a lot of problems that we can identify. You can find a problem anywhere, from behavioral stuff to the mentality of certain men, but hardly any forums or environments for them to find the solutions to some of these problems. So that's what I wanted to create. And I also wanted to create it because it was not just geared towards men, but towards the people that love them. And I put that in there because I feel like the people around them need to understand them as well. And as men, we need to effectively not just communicate, but effectively communicate to those people so that they can have a better understanding of what we think, how we feel, especially now with all these things changing around us. Like sometimes the men are still so silent. So like I have a picture with something covering my mouth because I feel like we constantly are taught to be strong but silent. And now it's starting to eat away at us. And there needs to be a forum. And if it takes me to do one thing that would change one life, that's what the idea is.
Absolutely.
I think that's so important, Garth, because because you've been on a number of our shows and we've addressed this topic in different ways with different guests, but it's important for our young men to see, what you're trying to envision for men in general. And I love how you bring your son in, to teach him that next generation. How important is it for you to reach back and give back, and especially to someone as close as your son? How important is that?
And I look at different cultures. I think I've been a part of a lot of different cultures over a couple of years. And you look at one thing that we, as a culture, I don't like saying it as much, but it's the truth. we don't encourage our kids to have like generation to talk about generational wealth. We don't encourage them to look beyond just the stereotypes. We don't encourage them to think more and do more and become more. For me, getting my son on every platform that I have, like right now, the segment that I have is called "You Are Not Invited," and he's the one that puts together the pictures. He does a lot of graphic stuff for me because that's what he likes to do. It's a hobby for him. I am nowhere close to techie like how he is. But I also want him to see that, hey, listen, you know, there are ways that we can evolve in our own journey. And I think me adding him to the journey, because I'm very transparent. In the beginning, I was not around for him as much as I wish I would have been. Because I was trying to do so many different things and become successful, quote unquote, successful, that I kind of neglected parts of that. And I think as he got older, I had to sit down and have a conversation with him and help him to understand why. And then try to include him in some stuff so he could really understand, like, this is what I was trying to do. It may not have worked as well as it may have worked. I think it did work in some aspects. But it's important that I bring him along on this part of the journey because I think he's old enough to understand. He's very smart, very, very smart. And he picks up on things really quick. So I also sometimes need his help. So it benefits both of us. Let's just say that.
You know, it's interesting that you used the word generational wealth. You know, I was talking to my son not too long ago. He's 26. And he used those exact words, generational wealth, you know, for the wealth of him now, for me and his father, for the children that he hasn't had, and generations to come. You know, so it's interesting to hear our young people talk about that generational wealth. And it's not spoken of often enough. You know, everything is like that microwave cosm. Everything they want it right now. So
instant gratification.
Yeah, it's important to teach them that you have to think long term and not just in this instant, and especially what's going on around our world today.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason why they're talking about it more now is because they're seeing it more now, and they're seeing it in different cultures. They're seeing it with different people, and they're asking themselves, well, why have we never had this conversation? I mean, it was there's a speaker I was listening to a while ago, and he constantly talked about the fact, why do they not teach us about money in school?
Right.
You know, like finances in school until we get to a certain level when we should be teaching that in the beginning because you want them to learn. So like my oldest daughter, we did a coin thing where we collect coins in a bottle, and we took it to the bank one day, and she was so amazed with the fact that she got so much money back. You know, and I was saying, well, this is savings. That's how savings works. And if you do savings with coins, it could come up like that. And you have to like talk to them. Am I a master of the savings part? No, I'm not. But there are little things that if we teach them, they could become masters. And I think they know now because they see it around them and they see different people doing it with their kids. And they're like, well, what about me? So that's why I try to include, especially my son, I try to include him because I feel as though he's now stepping into the world of work. And he has to understand the value of not just money, but of himself.
Right.
And then that would create some type of wealth and not be rich, you know, not bling bling, but more wealth instead of just riches, which lasts a little bit longer and for different generations.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, Garth, you do so much, and you have this platform that you have created. But when you think about it, a lot of things, especially like counseling, it's not something that is done in our culture. But you're a life coach as well. Tell us what made you go into being a life coach and how you use that to help bring men in to give them that healing portion that they're missing.
The major part of any coaching or consulting or what I do is listening. We love to respond. We love to respond to people and not just listen to them. The reason why the community or our community does not have a lot of that being a success is because we're not used to listening to people, and we do not want to listen to people most times. And when somebody understands that you want to listen to what they have to say, they'll say a lot. You know, they will say a lot. But it's creating an environment or a safe environment for them to want to share. With me, it's hard with even coaching and stuff like that with men because most men do not want to share. Because they were not taught to share. They were not programmed to share. So they want to share. So it's kind of hard getting out of them to talk about different things. But I think the more that we create this space and the more that we talk about stuff like here, we talk about it openly and be very transparent. More men are starting to open up slowly, but that has to start in their relationships. Like it has to start in relationships at home, it has to start in relationships at work, it has to start in relationship with a significant other. But it's an environment that has to be created over time. Do I think we're there yet? No. So my goal is that if I could help one person open up a little bit more, and again, I use the words effectively communicate, because everybody communicates, everybody. But most of us don't effectively communicate because we do not share it in a way that other people understand. It's either I say it this way, you don't get it, I move on. So effective communication is one of the things I try to touch on, and I give them a chance to talk about it, because I feel sometimes you just need to really be able to allow them to talk and you be able to just listen.
But you raise a key point, Garth, because one of the biggest part of communication is listening. Some people listen, and also some people just hear you. So there's a big difference in the two. I could be saying something and you can tell when someone is listening to you, or they're just hearing you, but they're focused on something else. So you have to be in it 100%. And also, I also feel that the communication part starts when they're little at home. You have to have that home where they can come home and tell you anything. And that's what we try to establish here. They can talk to us about anything. Some of the things that our kids, as they were growing up, was talking about. I'm like, but you want that. You want that openness, and you want that communication. And that takes them into their community, into their area, into their friends and family, to also have that communication. And it also helps them in their family. So communication is key. And it's not just in relationships, it's in all walks of life. You have to be able to communicate.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think it does start from home. It does start at a certain type of age, because then it's something that they practice. They can practice things that they don't know. And you're right, it has to start from that early. And yes, sometimes we don't even want to hear what they have to say, or sometimes it's a weird topic. But sometimes it helps them, because remember too, like if they come to you or they feel as though this environment is not a good environment, they will actually go to another environment and then get something that might be totally off. The perspective might be totally wrong. So sometimes it's good to just listen to them. And like I have some nieces that sometimes they ask me some questions and I'm like, okay, all right, I try to give them a good answer. And it's the most random, out of this world question. But the fact that they could sit and talk about it, it keeps them. And then the actual fact that they're not judged because of it. That's another part too.
And who knows what they're experiencing out in the world. They may not understand something, but hey, when I get home, I know I can ask this person. I know I can ask that, just to give them clarity and understanding, and let them know that somebody cares what you're feeling, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. So it all around is so important.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, a lot of times when we ask about the issues that come up between men and women, a lot of that is ego, and being able to conquer your own ego. Because a lot of times ego will put you in a trick bag most of the time.
Right.
So what are some of the ways you would suggest people are able to just place their ego under control, so that they are able to just kind of communicate better?
So I wrote a piece about the female ego recently. It was really interesting, because I said that ego does not have a gender. So it's not a male or female thing. It doesn't have a gender. So both parties have it, right? The main part about the ego part, and I had to do this on my own journey for myself, is I had to remove the comparison. I had to remove the comparing myself to other people. Even in relationships, there's a lot of comparisons that we have and a lot of competition that goes on that we don't talk about. And nowadays, there's a lot of comparing to social media. There's a lot of comparing to at work. So I think the ego is mainly, it's like, the phrase like buffing your chest. Like, I want to buff my chest because I want to assume this look or feel this way or make you feel I am this way. So I think sometimes the comparison is a main thing. And ego is not a bad thing. Ego is not a bad thing. Ego, when used the wrong way, is a bad thing, like most things.
Right.
I feel like to be able to get past the ego, you have to really want to understand the other person. You have to really want to understand them and not compare yourself to them and not compete with them. And a lot of relationships are now competitive relationships where they compete with each other, and sometimes the roles may change. And instead of understanding the roles, they may say, well, this is not supposed to be this is not how it's supposed to be. So I need to do something to make me feel better about this. And then it becomes comparison, and it becomes more comparing themselves to other people. And then it throws the ego into full drive now, because now you have to prove yourself more or less.
Exactly. And it's funny because I love watching Red Table Talk, and they talked about a lot of times we have the need for other people to make us feel like I need you to be this for me so that I can feel a certain way.
Right.
And really that's not what it is. We place unrealistic expectations on people. And that's men and women across the board. We have these different preset expectations and idolizations in our minds that are not conducive to being able to function with other people. If you need, your children to be this for you so that you feel like a proud parent, those are still internal things that we in society are having trouble working with. Now, as a man, as a Black man, and an author, what have you learned about yourself throughout your journey?
The main thing I think I've learned about myself is that I have to be happy within to be able to share happiness without or outside. A lot of times I remember, I know I've been in certain situations or relationships where I would have put myself and say, I used to believe the "you complete me" statement. Yeah. I mean, it's that's what we were taught. So, and we've been open. That's what I thought at one point, and then I had to kind of readjust the focus, and I was like, well, you should come complete. You should come complete. I should come complete, and then we could just grow together and become more together, I guess. What I've learned about myself on my journey too is that there were a lot of things that I was trying to fill a void with that did not start on the outside, and it had to be on the inside. So it took a lot of reflection. It took a lot of practice, and it took a lot of trust in the process. For me, trusting the process meant making mistakes, learning from the mistakes, hopefully not repeating the mistakes. And even as an author, which is not, I think when I first started, a lot of people were like, why you want to write books? Like, why you want to write? You should be doing this and you should be doing that. And I had to figure out, well, what makes me happy? I listened to a lot of people, and recently, as I go into like a lot more like meditation stuff and try to center myself, I realized that nobody is in charge of my happiness but myself. And you can make me happier, but you cannot make me happy.
Right.
Yeah. So it has definitely put me in a better place to understand how to grow and how to be able to be successful in my own right, and then to be able to share that with other people.
But God, sometimes you have to walk different roads in order to know what makes you happy. You may not necessarily start out doing something and you think this is what you want, but it's not necessarily that's what's making you happy. Sometimes you have to travel many roads until you get to that point and hear a lot of, as we call it, that backhand support about what makes you happy. And once you find that thing that makes you happy, it just takes time to cultivate it, to make it into yours, and to be that complete person that you're speaking of. So, it may not necessarily happen overnight that you find your happiness, but find it nonetheless, because it's so important in what makes us us.
I'll give you a quick story about that same finding that happiness thing. A few years ago in Atlanta, when I used to live there, I ended up in a situation where I had to make a couple of decisions of what direction I wanted to go in. I really wanted to become an actor. I really wanted to become an actor. Most of my friends were like, hey, you should really try it out. It might be a good look for you. I was doing the modeling at the time, and I had an opportunity to do something. But I want to say the stipulations or the cost of doing what I wanted to do was just something that I was not willing to do. Let's just say that. And I remember walking out of a meeting with somebody, and I was so confused. And I said to myself, okay, So I felt like God gave me a preview of what I wanted because I had a couple of things happening. And then I had this one meeting that just went totally off. And the expectation was unrealistic. I was like, I think not. And walking onto the meeting, I had this idea in my head. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's not for me. I guess acting is not for me. I guess the whole entertainment stuff is not for me. And as much as I would have liked to do, because I always wanted, like I said, I always wanted to become an actor. I mean, I get features every once in a while as an author, which is funny because they feature me as author God voice. I'm like, that's cool. You know, like, I'll take that. But that's what made me start writing. And it's because I realized that, okay, well, what do I feel passionate about every single day? And I'm not going to jeopardize, or I'm not going to, to jeopardize myself for maybe you can get a role in a movie, or maybe you can be an actor. And what do I have control over? And at that time, I realized that, wait a minute, I have control over writing. I could write my own stuff. I could publish my own books. I don't need anybody to support me. I finance every part of my journey from ever since I have been. I've written 4 books, and they've all been financed by me. And something I had control of. Like right now, I want to reprint the last copies that I had, and that's in my control. Nobody has to tell me, hey, you need to do this for me to do this for you. I can do it for myself.
That's right.
I definitely agree with you, because I feel when I walked out of that meeting, I realized, okay, this is not for me. I'm not going to allow anybody to take advantage of me because they think I want this that bad. Like I don't need it that bad. So it directed me into writing, and I've been writing for over 15 years now. And I, like I said, that was a dream. The dream was, okay, you come to the States, you do a couple things, you get into the fitness, you get into the acting, and then you never know, it might be on the big screen. And I've been on the big screen in other areas, but did not having to give too much of myself, or to not feel good about myself when I did something. So I definitely understand that, and that story, I've told that story a couple of times to people, and they were like, really? And like, yep, really.
It's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you absolutely never have to wait for somebody to tell you you're great. But in the society, that's kind of how it's set up. You apply for jobs through an application. You're waiting for somebody to accept you. You're always waiting either for somebody to tell you you're great or tell you you're accepted. That's just the way the society has ran. Tell us about your newest release.
Well, the last release was The Journey Continues to Evolve. It was ebooks and paperback. I did a lot of those. I think those sold out. The paperback sold out a while ago, and I've been thinking about reprinting the book itself. I went more from that writing into the Dear Man project because mainly I felt as though that was more needed than reprinting the books. I felt there was really a need for that, and I was going through a period in my life where I feel as though that was what I needed to focus on. I had some time. I took 2 months out of just doing nothing but creating this website out of scratch. From scratch to the website in 22 days. I checked every single day. And the website became live after 22 days, after I tested it a little bit. And I went into that project mainly because I felt as though this was needed. I felt as though there was a lot of things that I was not able to deal with. And I just imagine somebody who doesn't have a platform, somebody who doesn't have an outlet. And that's the main thing, because once you don't have an outlet, that stuff stays inside of you. I've put together a couple more little books to put out there. Some of them most likely will come out next year. I had one that's based on relationships, which, it's a stretch. But I was looking at it from an angle where I'm not the expert. So I'm not the expert, but I can tell you a lot of things that I've failed at. So that's the premise of the book. And that would have been the latest book. That may not happen until maybe next year. So I'm pushing more of the segment that I do now, which is the flipping the script, so people could come on and they could share their story, because I feel we need more of that, especially now. We need more positives. And then the Dear Man, I've been pushing the Dear Man simply because I feel it's a needed thing, especially now, especially with things happening, not just in the Black community, but in every community. I feel like there is a stigma that we have to overcome, and there's certain things that we have to really get past and create environments with less judgment and a little bit more problem solving.
How has the reception of that been, Garth? Because you said the keyword judgment. A lot of people fear putting themselves out there because of being judged. How receptive of that has it been?
It's been surprisingly and pleasantly really accepted. The reason why I say pleasantly and surprisingly at the same time is because when I first did it, And most of the things that I do, I don't do for likes and who likes it, who doesn't like it. I just do it because I feel as though it's necessary, right?
Right.
If I get 10 people that say, "Oh my God, this changed my life," that's great. Not 10,000. I don't need 25,000 followers on Instagram. I don't need all that.
Right.
And the reception was good at the beginning because I had a couple interviews about it. A lot of people were on the site. They were sharing the content, which is all I needed them to do, just share the content. There was no monetary gain from the website. The website was fully funded by me. And the fact that people said, "Hey, this is really good." People were trying to learn about their spouse now with the site. Like they go to the site and they read some stuff and like, okay, well, this is why he acts this way. The funny thing about that is that it was mainly women going to the site to figure out the behind the scenes, right? Behind the scenes. But then there was a nice turn of it where a lot of guys who I knew and some people who were following me were like, "Dude, I checked out the site." Now this was separately. This was off the chat. This was totally off, where this was a message sent directly to me. So I would get a couple of messages and we would talk openly about it. I would say the best story from the reception of it was one of my son's friends who messaged me, and he was like, "I love the relationship you have with your son, and he's my friend, and I want to talk to you about something because I feel as though I don't have a male figure in my life to talk about it." And he wanted to get some advice, which I did. That to me was the biggest impact, and I talk about it now, and it really impressed me that he was, one, brave enough to ask for help, and secondly, he was open to the conversation. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That alone, is worth everything that you go through just to get it up.
Exactly, yes.
He knows that he has somewhere to go.
Yeah, and that's the intention, right?
I love it. Well, here on Let's Chat, we like to do something fun. You practically live here. You have your own little seat in the corner with your own key and everything.
Look at you done sat back, Lee. She done sat back. She's like, uh-oh.
Tony's gonna give you a fun question. I don't know what it's gonna be because that's not part of my area. But I'm here for all of the entertainment. Go ahead, T.
Look at, she got a cup and everything, God. You see her? She's all right.
She set you up too. She's like, "So go ahead, you go ahead."
But God, we so appreciate every minute that you can spend with us here on Let's Chat, and you are always welcome here. But I've been inspired by your. I'm always inspired by your journey and the words that you share with us. If you had one person, dead or alive, that you would love to sit down and have a one-on-one with, who would it be and why?
I think because of the field I'm in, I would love to sit down and talk to Jim Rohn. I've listened to those videos from when he was younger to his last one that he had with Herbalife that was on YouTube. I think his perception of stuff, there's two people. There's Jim Rohn and Wayne Dyer. I would just say those two. One has a spiritual sense of stuff. He looks at stuff from us being spiritual beings having a human experience, which I definitely agree with. And Jim Rohn, his perception of life and not just positive thinking, but the way that our mindset is set up. I think he would be a good person to pick his brain a little bit because a lot of what he said, I have applied to my journey and it has bloomed or evolved into success. So I definitely want to get some more nuggets and apply some more stuff to what I do right now. So that
we haven't heard Wayne Dyer's name in a while here on Let's Chat, Lissha. It's been a minute since we've heard his name.
So the funny thing about Wayne Dyer, I think Wayne Dyer is actually born on my birthday.
Really?
Wow. I think he's May 10th, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't know that until a lot later on when I stopped. I was listening to some of his stuff and his idea of writing books just because, and his idea of he used to walk barefooted in the garden just to feel the energy from the floor. I do a lot of that stuff now as I got wiser, not older, but wiser. So yeah, it's definitely been a good impact too with the way that he looked at stuff. And I always like the fact that he looked at us as a spiritual being having a human experience instead of a human being having a spiritual experience.
Absolutely. I love it.
Wow.
But that was easy. That was an easy question. That was nice. Yeah. That was nice. Well, thank you.
See, Look at that. That's just some shade. See, look at that shade he giving us.
That was nice because I was expecting something, totally different. I was like,
I can do that too. I can do that too, God. I can do that too.
Last time I was on the show, I think you asked me some type of question. I think it was a color question, and I was like, oh, "What color would I be?" And I was like, "Oh."
No, I was just inspired by just wondering who would you speak to, dead or alive, just based on our conversation tonight, and that kind of just sat with me, so I went with it.
Well, I appreciate it. That was an easy one in terms of it was more relatable for me. So I appreciate that. So you guys have done two things to me. One, you made way for me to still be on the program, which I really like. You have no idea how much I appreciate that, because I was like, I hope I don't want to reschedule. I don't want to reschedule. I don't want to reschedule. I don't do another day. I want to do tonight. And I wrote it on my calendar. So I was like, oh my God. But and then now you asked me a really relatable question that I could, not blush all over the face and have to.
Right, because we can see you now, but I'm not gonna promise it's gonna be that easy next time.
Last time I was on the radio, and I was like, okay, she can't see my face, and then now I was like, oh, she said,
like, you see each other, right?
It's a little different. It's a little different, but we so appreciate you always supporting us, always, looking out for us. We thank you for all that you do.
Yes.
It's a necessity. It's conversations that we need to have, especially not just men and women, but men in general, because I believe that in order for things to change, everybody has to be reset and rebuilt. Mm-hmm. And the idea of men not really using their voice or understanding what their voice should be, and the understanding of what actual strength is, and knowing that it's okay to talk about things. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you lesser than. But I think that it's important that men have that talk with men. A lot of times, especially on YouTube, on Instagram, it really bugs me. You have a lot of men talking to women about how women should be and what women should do. They're not a woman. They can't have no babies, but they got a lot of knowledge on what we need to do. There's less people talking about men and how they should be and what they should do. And I just appreciate you because you've taken that position of, listen, we can't worry about getting them together. We got to worry about getting ourselves together.
Yeah.
We can't get together if we're not together, because anything that happens in a broken vessel, well, anything that you experience is never going to be a good experience until you repair those things. And so you have to be able to do what needs to be done to make those experiences what they are. Yeah. And I just want to say I thank you for that.
Yeah, it has to be, I've learned this myself the hard way sometimes, that I have to also, I can't just blame other people and other things. I have to take accountability for myself and my own actions before I could look at anybody else and say anything to anybody else. I think that has helped too, because sometimes when we kind of sit down and we say, okay, well, did I do this correctly, or did I make the right choice? Yeah. Most times we did not, and what I've done with the DMN project too is that I've made men understand that, listen, all that foolishness that you're trying to talk about, what she should do and she should do and she should do, like, well, what are you doing? How are you changing yourself to become a better person? And it's something that has been very, like, again, sometimes it's received well. Sometimes some people are like, well, I don't want to go on that page. He telling me all about myself. I'm like, well, it's yourself you have to change, because if you don't, you're going to continue to do the same cycle and repeat the things over and over again. And you're going to continue to bring people and not realize that sometimes we are both the problem and the solution. We are both of those things. And I've been putting it out there. I've said a lot about, like, even with the female ego thing I wrote about, I put it there plainly. I said, we also have to stop comparing ourselves with them and stop trying to fight everybody. Like, we constantly are fighting each other. And then, why things don't work out? Well, if you stop fighting each other, maybe it will work out. Maybe if you try to understand each other a bit better and communicate effectively so that both parties understand. So it's an ongoing challenge. It's definitely an ongoing challenge. It's not the easiest thing to do. The MN project has a lot of challenges to it, because we're still trying to get more men to come to site, to really pay attention to some stuff and be honest. Be honest with yourself.
Right.
You know, it's easy to say that it's your fault, somebody else.
Right.
And I posted something yesterday about choosing. You know, we could jump from one relationship to the next. It's easy. We could do it every day. I mean, but the thing is, both parties could do it every day if they wanted to. But we now have to choose that person. We have to choose them. And unless we choose that person to be in our life and we say, this is what I want to be, we would not make the 110%. There's too much 50% and 75% and 60%.
Right.
There's too much of that, and there's no more 100%. Everybody's trying to add 50 and add 50 to be 100. So it's kind of weird.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because it's very important that, especially in relationships, you are sure of what you want to do. You know, because that relationship, anything that you do is absolutely a choice. And so if you're lukewarm about you and the things that are and your intentions, then other people are going to be lukewarm to you, because that's the type of energy you're putting out there.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to be absolutely sure of what you're doing and why, because everything ain't easy. It always gets hard sometimes. So you have to know, you don't have time to convince nobody on what makes you great. You don't have time to convince nobody on anything. Like, I need you to know what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Those open conversations are hard, though. Those open, vulnerable conversations are hard. And you said something earlier about men and being able to speak and have a voice and all that stuff. But you have to understand, this is a program. This program has been programmed for a long time. Part of this program or this way of thinking, it's like brainwash. It's like, if I tell you from the time you're a child and you fall and I say, get up, don't cry, just get up. Like, you know, like little things like that. And I'm not saying that, you know, like we want to lose whatever people think masculinity is, right? Because it's what they think it is. Nobody knows what it is. They think it is. It's been programmed into us what it is. But a lot of times we have to be able to share also. Hey, you could be open about how you feel about something.
That's right.
You could talk about it, because once you are unable to do that, you're going to find ways to fill that void. And most ways for men, you go either other women, alcohol, some vice. Like, it's the truth, you know, and we don't realize that until we take stock of it, and we continue to not take stock of it. So we continue to do the same thing over and over again, and it's a program.
Right.
So it's challenging, but is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. It could change.
You have to want to make a change. But God, you always come on here and we have such in-depth conversation, you know, and things that need to be spoken of. So we always enjoy when you visit us, because, you know, we get a lot out of it, you know, on both sides. You know, it's always good to hear that man perspective on some things that we talk about. And it's always good talk when we talk with you.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Well, we so appreciate you coming to kick it with us in the chat room. You know that you are always welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Anything you need from us, you know, you can always ask, and the Ladies Let's Chat will be there.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you a lot.
Thank you. Shout out your social media before you go, so everyone can know how to get in touch with you, the site, everything.
All right. Social media is simple. It's I am God Voisin, VOISIN, for those who find it sounds kind of weird. You know, like who butcher my name every time I come on the program. I'll text you separately. It's I am God Voisin on Instagram. It's God Voisin on Facebook. I have a couple of pages on Facebook, but the main page is God Voisin, and the website is thechatradioshow.com. Just thechatradioshow.com. If you Google it, it will come up, so you can find it on there. New segment is called You Are Not Invited. It's an IG live that I do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Some Fridays we may have off, because Monday and Wednesday I think would be better days. So definitely another avenue, another platform to help not just men, but also men and women who have been in business, who have challenges, who people hardly ever get to interview. I flip the script on them and I interview them, and I just listen to them talk about their challenges. I ask a couple questions. It's very, very enlightening, and it's very, very motivational for me, because I get to see and to hear the different challenges that people have overcome, and they continue to reinvent themselves. So it definitely is a good platform for that. So I am God Voisin on Instagram, God Voisin on Facebook, DMNproject.com, And most of this stuff happens on IG, so yeah, you can find me there.
Well, congratulations on all those platforms. God, it's a much needed, place for people to go and just learn of themselves. So we thank you for providing that platform.
Thank you for having me tonight. I enjoyed it.
We appreciate you. Thank you so very much.
Till next time.
We'll see you soon.
Hopefully I get an easy question.
I think you.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.
This has been a great show, T. It's been a great show to a hectic day for both of us. So
it's not over, Lissha. It's not over.
It's not over because we got a few more things we have to do. But we appreciate you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow. We will be hitting them airwaves. We'll be talking that talk on Let's Chat Radio. So make sure you guys head over to iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk and listen to our show on tomorrow. I'm excited. We have some great guests that's going to kick it in the chat room with us tomorrow. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys soon. Make sure you head over to Amazon Prime and check out The Secrets That Bind. Support Kenni York.
And that great cat. That's an awesome cat.
Yeah.
Energy.
Absolutely. We thank you so very much, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great day.